Hey, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel. I represent ARC. We'll do very short introductions, but apparently I was just told 30 seconds ago I need to introduce the rest of the panelists. I'll let them do their own little introductions about how they got to where they are, and obviously, share a bit more about their own experiences in the next 30 minutes or so and everything like that. But yeah, I think first and foremost, we've got Katherine. She's the MD of Tezos in APAC. At the same time, we've got Elroy. I work with him at ARC. And we've got Jonathan Levin of Chainalysis coming into town. Previously, he just flew in from Japan. Very, very jealous about that. Last but not least, we've got Cheo as well, as the founder of Tokenize. If everybody can put their hands together one more time and just invite them all on stage, please. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, thanks.
Wow, so bright.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Yeah, so basically, I think, just kick off this afternoon and everything. And by the way, very short introduction about me. My name is Gabriel. Basically, I've been doing tech conferences for too long. I got into crypto about 2016 or so. I used to run some of the biggest crypto conferences in this part of the world. Of more recent times, I was also part of the team in MAS. I was also involved in last year's edition of the Singapore FinTech Festival. More recently, I'm also involved in ARC, which I think Elroy will share more a little bit later. But at the same time, along with that, I was also working on a kind of like football, tokenizing football kind of project and everything like that, right? We'll just go down the line very, very quickly. Speakers, if you can do a very short introduction and everything like that, your background, about how you get to it and everything. Also cautious about time and everything. So just very quick introduction to you.
Okay, hello. Hi everyone. A very good afternoon. So my name is Cheo. I'm the founder of Tokenize Exchange. We started in Singapore back in late 2017, one of the 4 licensed exchanges in Malaysia, and try to be also a license in the rest of the Southeast Asia country. Now we have set apart to be everywhere in Asia, and our motto is that we hope if you think of where to get your access of cryptocurrency or Web3, you will think about Tokenize. So that's who we are. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Katherine. I'm the Managing Director of TZ APAC. We're a Web3 ecosystem builder focused on the Tezos blockchain, a pioneering proof-of-stake layer 1 chain. And we're very excited to be here to discuss all things community.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Levin. I'm one of the co-founders of Chainalysis. We are the investigation and compliance platform for digital assets, helping law enforcement agencies, regulators, governments, financial services firms, and the smallest builders all comply with regulation and make the cryptocurrency space safer for everyone.
Hi, my name is Elroy. I'm a co-founder at ARC. ARC is a members-only community, token-gated by NFTs. We bring curated groups of people together under a common banner or a shared purpose, which is collective value creation via collaborations. Thanks.
Thank you. So the topic today we're going to be talking about is about resiliency, all right, in the Web3, what's happening in the industry. We're going to spend probably the first 10 minutes or so talking about as well the lay of the land. We're going to get different perspectives about what exactly is, especially the macro outlook, not just here in Southeast Asia or Asia, but around the world, especially from people like John from Chainalysis, getting a bit of a perspective. Subsequently, after that, we hope to share especially their learnings over the years about, basically, when you talk about building resiliency in Web3 companies, what is that, right? Like, the space moves extremely quickly. But just before we start, right, and I'm just looking around, and I think Sobnandu is not in this room, so I will ask this question. How many people of you here, and because the lights are off, so we won't identify anybody, how many of you actually own crypto in this room? Damn, we got a hard crowd to please. NFTs, any kind of, damn. Wow. Okay, put your hands down before Sonendu comes in. All right. So maybe to start it off, right? I'm going to break it down to 2 very distinct verticals. Chi, I'll go to you first. So, lay of the land. Maybe give us a little bit of a very top-down view of what exactly is happening. It's the macro doesn't look good. Everybody knows that. In fact, it's one of the key themes of SFF this year. But at the same time, also, it's a bear market, right? Everybody calls it a bear market. What's your observations, learning, if you could put into one paragraph, which you've seen specifically on crypto?
Oh, one paragraph is very, very challenging.
I'll give you 2.
Okay, so let me try. So I think this is not the first bear market. We have been few bear markets before, but I think this time is very exciting. For me, it's very exciting. First, of course, I come a bit earlier. I come early 2017. So even now we are in the bear markets, you know, the whole valuations, right? Let's avoid to talking about price today. I think we are all quite concerned about that. But the whole valuation is still, you know, 5 times higher or even 10 times higher compared to the previous bear market. So I think that's quite fortunate for me. I know that it's quite challenging for the later kind of investor, but I think we are still in the early phase, right? And I think what is really excites me a lot is talent, right? Despite in the bear market, the talent pool nowadays is huge. And there are a lot of from trade fiber, from different verticals, creative, and I think you know everyone here can relate, and we are very excited on that. And projects, right? They are more institutional. Like you can see a lot of institutional is coming in, be it you know our local banks, and also there are more exciting things like Project Orchid, right? All these things I think is new evolutions, how they comprise different like stablecoins and different projects to come together to the Web3. And now we have NFT, right? NFT has been, you know, we have CryptoKitty back in 5 years, but now no people talk about CryptoKitties. People talk about much more prominent projects, and I think we are very, very excited on that.
I'll come to NFTs very shortly to Elroy, but before Elroy, John, this is like, you've been doing this, what, 2012, Chainalysis started 2014, 2015. You know, anything else to add to whatever Cheo says?
Yeah, I think, you know, we at Chainalysis, we really look at like all of the blockchain activity, and the fundamental question that we're trying to answer is, you know, how and why people are actually using cryptocurrency. So we publish a report every year called the Geographic Adoption Index, which looks at really how are people adopting cryptocurrency in different markets around the world, and we sort of slice and dice it by the types of applications, whether people are using DeFi, whether people are using centralized exchanges. And out of the top 20 countries around the world that are adopting cryptocurrency the fastest, 7 of which are in Central and Southeast Asia. And that, for me, is indicative of there are some real macro drivers behind adoption in these markets that are different to sort of pure forms of speculation. And when we look at sort of the fastest growing markets, and you look at sort of Vietnam and the Philippines, there's a lot of stuff happening around play to earn. There's a lot of stuff happening around remittances. And we start to see sort of real applications of crypto technology in a way that is very different from the world. The first bear market that sort of I saw was in 2012 or 2011. Like looking at that, I mean, that was really different compared to like where we're at today. I think that one of the things that we need to look at is there are new entrants coming into the market still today, and businesses that real large enterprises that couldn't actually ride the cycle as it's sort of growing exponentially, but are now sort of realizing there are these market opportunities, and traditional financial institutions are getting in, as well as bigger consumer brands looking at sort of their IP strategy over time. And that to me is sort of a very different feel to this bear market compared to sort of previous.
Understand. But the difference, and so before we go into like a very short segment into NFTs, but like, so what you're saying is that, do you think it's because there are more verticals in the Web3 space now? And like, I mean, in the past, it's obviously like, you go back to 2012, Mt. Gox, and then, 2016, sorry, 2017, ICOs only, whereas now they're like more verticals, the space is more robust, or?
Yeah, the way I describe it is I think that there are like 2 macro trends. There is, us having a financial asset, an asset class that people are investing in, and that there are now large institutions like Bank of New York Mellon and really established institutions that are actually allowing people to custody this asset class and actually providing a lot of financial products around that asset class. And that space has matured enormously over the last 10 years, where now there are lots of regulated products for institutions and consumers to buy. I think the second thing is exactly you're right, is that we've actually seen the establishment of a lot of verticals that are being impacted by crypto technology. And so like, I don't think about those as necessarily crypto verticals. I think about crypto as a technology actually seeping into those verticals, and it's touching a lot more markets today. It's touching the art world, it's touching music, it's touching gaming in ways where people are reimagining existing business models.
Kat, you got anything else to say to this?
Yeah,
You're nodding your head and everything.
Sure. Yeah. Just to add to what John said, within the layer 1 space, we are seeing verticals from the NFT space where, again, arts, music comes in. I mean, you have Snoop Dogg and his son collecting NFT art on chain and basically performing at the VMAs and with Eminem in their Basie avatars in real life. So we're seeing all this exciting convergence of both Web 2 and Web 3. We're also seeing it in DeFi, as you said, a re-architecting of financial services. We're also looking at institutional adoption, deal flow, and liquidity coming into the space where Cheo's expertise lies. We also see a very renewed interest in gaming. So it's where big brands are coming in, trying to gamify their brands with NFT avatars and the metaverses. And eventually, it's going to be a matter of time where we have this the dApp layer operating without people realizing that it's blockchain, essentially. That's when the UX will be super seamless. So it's very exciting.
Interesting. Elroy, so from your perspective, we've talked about layer 1, we've talked about the macro, everything. How about, and before we segue into the next, conversation which we're going to have, maybe not just about NFTs, but observations from communities. I think the communities now are a little bit different from when we entered the space, 2016, 2017, we both entered about the same time, right? Communities, do you have any comments about that? Anything very quickly?
Yeah, I think community-first Web3 social products are a rave right now. So some are DAOs, some are Web 2.5 projects like ARC. I guess the key difference is that they are not built protocol first or dApp-based first. They're more built with the community first. So most often than not, the community is your product. And there's a very different way of thinking there. But I agree with the rest of them. GameFi assets seem to be the rave right now. I think that's very exciting to look forward to the next cycle. Games are definitely going to be built to be more intrinsically fun rather than just focusing on the token economy itself. Utility-focused NFT projects as well. So I guess some of you will know here, Art Gobblers minted yesterday, led by Paradigm. So super sick tokenomics, super sick game theory design. Big brands are all in. I think all of us know this. I think this will never stop. I think most global brands right now already have a crypto roadmap, NFT roadmap, or they are definitely planning one. What else? Generative art, of course, but I think I'll let Katherine talk about that. Tezos is doing amazing stuff with their FX hash platform. But yeah, like what she mentioned, I think the most exciting thing right now is the type of projects coming out are definitely more interesting, more exciting. 2018, crypto winter, left most of us headless. What do you have? Like some DeFi, you have usage of BTC, a lot of protocol development, a lot of middleware development. But I guess for most attendees in the space, it definitely left most of us clueless. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's very good insight. What I want to know, and this is really just open to everybody, there's this saying, right? And we see it on Twitter a lot. Sometimes it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, where everybody says, you know what, things are not looking good, bear market and everything, it's the time to build, right? And my response to that is that, then what the hell were you doing in the bull market? Were you not building? Were you just like on the beach? No, right? But we're still building, right? But I just feel that it's a bit of a self-pat on the back kind of thing like that. So I really wanted to know, and this really moves into the whole question of resiliency, which is that how exactly is it like building in a bear market? Can you give some examples of like growth, or even when maybe if I go back to 2018, 2019, right, where I think there was still a lot of honest curiosity in the space in Web3. In fact, I think we didn't even hear the term Web3 in 2018, 2019. That term wasn't even invented, right? What kind of like is the how I say examples of of how did you guys actually build up your business or even expanded your business. Maybe I'll go back to Katherine about that, because I think that was also around the time where Tezos in the APAC region started to get a little bit more active. You guys were also trying to figure things out and everything. You know, and if you think back, people knew Tezos, but you know, I think you know, hiring, everything would be things. So I think all of us had the same problems as well. So maybe I'll start with Kat.
Yeah, thanks, Gabe. So the Tezos ecosystem has been in Asia for about 4 years already, and we're super committed to Asia because Asia, the growth of Asian cities is a mega trend, and as John mentioned, the crypto adoption rate is really high in this region as well. So my team and I, literally when we started, it was just me and one other person, an intern. And so we grew our team to 18 packs based in Singapore because Singapore is our regional hub. And we like the crypto regulations here. It's safe, stable, and it's good for builders. So what we see is essentially how layer ones, like the Tezos Foundation, manage treasuries. It's very important that we have liquidity, stability funds in place so that grants are deployed in a sustainable way. So everyone is, what does sustainability look like to you? Because there's a lot of hype in the bull run where but investors that are, you know, ape into like Atos or Soy, for example, will be like, yeah, let's ape in and then let's like have retail as our exit liquidity. It's really not about that for our ecosystem. It's really about finding the founders who are committed to this space and really want to build great product and want to create and do this collaboratively. So within the art community, we see that they are the most resilient community members in the whole wide world. Like that's been really the most organic, active community, whether it's bulls or bears. If I'm an artist, I'm depressed, I still mint, I'm happy, I still mint NFTs. I just want to focus on my art, and that's something that's tided us through the bears, and it's inspired builders to come and build on our chain, to create NFT marketplaces like FSH, as Elroy mentioned, to just, yeah, create the right tooling. I know it sounds boring, but yeah, to really build out the developer adoption that we so need in this space. So.
I'm just going to segue very quick to John, right? And following up on that point as well. You know, you've obviously raised money, 2021. Congratulations, by the way. How do you actually strike a balance between, like, I've raised the money, how much of it is for growth, how much is it for reserve? How, you know, the reason I throw this question to you first is because you've been through different cycles. How do you know, like, look, you know, we have to be careful about where we spend our money? Like, how are these, you know, decisions made? Especially APAC is a growing market, and you know, you mentioned Vietnam and Philippines, so everybody are spending marketing budgets and getting into that. But how do you actually balance it out to make sure that, look, you know, this is how we should do it? Should we not spend so much, and how much is on growth and making sure that we still are a sustainable business?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things, and I'll pick up on the previous question about, like, you know, whether, you know, building in a bear market is just a meme. I think that the reality is that, like, as markets really sort of take off and, you know, there's a huge influx of companies, investment, and people into the space, you know, there's a huge amount of executive focus on just pure execution. Like, do we have the people in place in order to be able to scale the company? Do we, you know, have the coverage models to be able to, like, really make our clients successful? And so, you know, that's really been the sort of largest focus of executives during that time. And the reason why we call it the building phase in sort of a bear market is because, you know, suddenly there's a lot more attention on the types of scrutiny that you're talking about, which is, you know, what are the actual key markets that you have to be in as a business in order to be successful? You know, in a bull market, you don't actually know whether, you know, it's a great idea to be in a particular geography because, you know, every geography is growing. And so when we look at the business today, you know, for Chainalysis, you know, international expansion has been sort of one of the driving forces of our business. You know, we put a huge headquarters here in Singapore to service the region, and we're excited about other markets. We have people on the ground in India and Korea and Japan and Australia. And expanding on that. So for us, it was like saying, you know, one of the key important parts is, you know, regional coverage and localization. And so we tend to then continue to invest on that. And so, we know that that's like the must-win opportunity for us to be the global company in the space doing it. And so that's where we make our investment dollars. And so I think when people are thinking about where they're spending dollars today, you spend things on what are the must-win opportunities for you as a business. And so that's what we're continuing to do.
Cheo, do you apply the same strategy for Tokenize?
Yeah, I think I would say we are quite similar with all the panels here. Yep.
Yeah. Elroy, maybe throw it to you, and Cheo can also follow up as well, which is that since we're on this, I wanna talk a little bit about, within your organization, like just curious question, right? Just down the line, like, I mean, Elroy aside, obviously, I know the answer to that is like about 2 years or something like that. But like, what's the longest an employee has worked for any of your organizations, John?
We've had employees with us for 7 years.
7 years, Kat?
Well,
I think it's actually yourself, right? It's actually well,
I literally just joined 2 years ago, so like.
Yeah, 2 years. Cheo?
5 years.
5 years. So it brings me to another question, and Elroy, I would like to hear your opinions about this one. But like, when you talk about resiliency, it's not just resiliency as a business, but how do you instill resiliency within our own business, right? Our space changes very quickly, right? What is relevant today wasn't relevant 6 months ago, right? Things change very, very quickly, right? Whether we like it or not. Sometimes of our own doing, sometimes because of market doing, sometimes because of regulations, whatever, right? So how do you instill this resilience? And most importantly, despite what happens, not just in the market, but when new ideas, new businesses, we see what's happening in the space. How do we, what would you say about instilling that resilience internally?
I guess I want to talk in context of what I'm doing, ARC.
Yep.
So for us at ARC, our community is our product. And if you want to build a resilient community, which is the company, you got to instill trust in your community members. So you got to have a consistent realignment of values, purpose, updates, plans. You need consistent community engagement. I think in the NFT space, it's very easy to be labeled a rug if you actually do not have a consistent or a strong, effective channels of communication with your community. I guess for us at ARC, we do about like 3 Twitter posts a day. We have 24/7 Discord management, both contributors, full-time contributors, full-time staff, contributors as well. But for us, we actually, for lack of better words, we actually we have a focus on this concept called community-led growth. So community-led growth is basically placing more resources and highlighting your community more rather than your product or your features. And in turn, your community, your members become your loyal advocates. So they market for you, they work for you. So this is what we are doing at ARC. And for us at ARC, we really need our members to be aligned in all our values, belief, purpose. But it's that consistent engagement that's super important to actually build trust. And for us, trust is resiliency.
Interesting. We've got about 5 minutes left. I think everyone, we can see we've got a few questions there. I'm just going to run through the questions it's all anonymous, thank God, for some of you asking this. And it's not that we don't want to answer the questions, but I think for the subsequent two panels, they will actually answer this. So basically for everybody's benefit, the 3 questions we have over here is how do we prevent money laundering NFTs? I think the subsequent panels are going to answer that. I think the second question, the term Web3 and the crypto hijack Web3, no. In fact, nobody in the crypto industry hijacked the word Web3. We didn't coin it. It was the outside world. People are still afraid of crypto. How do you convince them otherwise? I think you just have to learn. I think you just have to, it's content, its own research and everything like that. And I think actually 2 panels from now, where you show from CoinHako and there is a QCP talking about. Anybody wants to answer this? If not, I'll move on to my last question because we've got like 5 minutes or anything.
I'm happy to take the money laundering in NFTs. I think that, look, what's super important about the blockchain is that there is, a greater degree of transparency on the blockchain than there is in the traditional art world, right, for example. And so, what's possible with this is to make sure that there is, good real-time data on, when NFTs have been stolen. And, we've built a lot of products at Chainalysis to help both NFT marketplaces and collections and people who are actually brands stepping into the space, ensuring that, the right trading is happening on these NFT projects. And so, I think that, it's possible if the right entities actually have the right technology to prevent more money laundering in NFTs than in other places.
All right. Okay, Two last quick fire questions. Maybe everyone spend 30 seconds, give me your opinions on this. If you've got no opinion, it's fine as well. I've got this saying, resilience invokes change. Change is good. In fact, change is what drives our space, right? And basically without change, our space won't move ahead.
Yeah, I think, change is inevitable, right? So I think how we come to today's with blockchain is also a part of change, really, right? So I think, being resilient, if I may, add on and expand to the Gabriel question just now, is just really experience, right? Sometimes how we can become resilient. For once we are not, right? Then with the times accumulations and we continue change for better, right? Then that's why we are not say that we are top notch in the resiliency, but we are trying to be and we are very committed. So yeah, that's my answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Kat?
Yeah, change is the only constant. So we need blockchains that are designed to evolve according to the needs of a community. So if you want to experience it for yourself, talk to me more. Go to Hall 3, look at our robot coffee barista, and experience minting an NFT for yourself. Yeah.
I think that for us, the interesting thing about Chainalysis is that we've been doing the same thing the whole time, and that while the industry changes constantly, we've been sort of making sure that abuse of the industry is harder and harder. And so I think when people are thinking about sort of the current industry, have much greater conviction in what you're doing, stick to your guns on the must-win markets, the must-win use cases, and that pays off over the long run.
Elroy?
I think all of us would love change, right? Because change just means growth. Just imagine us being stuck in our own perpetual echo chamber our whole lives, comfortable with the status quo, nothing moves, but no growth. Just drawing this back to Web3 as well, I guess the biggest change for me was that I started to realize that despite what you've learned in Web2, despite what you've learned in your 20 years in McKinsey or whatever, you need to come into crypto or Web3 with a fresh perspective. Taking time to go down the rabbit hole, taking time to understand the ethos of the space, the motivations of the space. I think if you don't adhere to that change, you will never be able to build a good product for your users or your members in Web3.
Yeah, I think to summarize, and I think we're all in agreement on this, which is that evolution is a pain, but I think evolution is one of the necessary cornerstones to kind of move our industry ahead. And final word on resiliency as well is that I think I would say all of us are here to stay, regardless whether maybe a year from now we're doing exactly the same thing, nobody knows, but I think we're all going to be in the space and everything like that. And I think, and you can shake your head at me if anybody disagrees or anybody in the audience as well, but the fact of the matter is that, like it or not, we're not going anywhere. I think we can all agree on that. Okay, final question. This is the most difficult one. I think it's for everybody's benefit. Yesterday, StarHub and Singtel announced that we're finally going to get the bloody World Cup in Singapore and everything. Chiwi, who's going to win the World Cup? Come on, pick a name. Pick a name. We've got 13 seconds. Come on, man.
I think let's pass to Katherine.
Yeah, Katherine, who's going to win the World Cup?
What? Okay, England?
England, great. John?
Definitely not.
Elroy?
I don't know. Japan, yeah.
Japan? All right, we got all in. It's probably safer to buy. It's probably safer to buy Bitcoin, everybody. On behalf of the panelists, thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.